Hello everyone, we have Giles Tongue, the VP of Marketing with us from Bango. Very interesting concept. I just asked him, I tried to read about it and I was like, how does this happen? I always thought that the companies did it themselves, but he explained it to me and he will explain it to you as well, how it's done. First of all, welcome to the Splashy Business Show. How are you, Giles?
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here and excited to be here in Doha.
Yeah, the very first question would be, what was special about MWC Day 1?
Oh,
Did you find anything interesting apart from the running robots?
yeah. Well, they were a bit scary. The first time I saw it, it was coming towards me. So that was an unexpected thing.
Yeah.
Look, let me compare. I was here last year at the slightly smaller
Nice.
event. So I've seen the transition from the smaller event, which was
M360, I think?
M360,
Yeah.
to this event. This event's way bigger.
Yeah.
There's a lot of big companies here and also some smaller companies, which gives a nice balance. I love that Qatar University is in the middle. I love that there's a startup area. These are really important things. And to compare it to last time, there are more companies here. There's more things to see and do. There's 5 stages, so there's a lot of talks going on. And actually, it's still small enough to get around and do things.
Yeah.
And actually, if you have to try and do some business and meet some new people, you can do. You walk up to the stand, you introduce yourself. Compare that again to MWC in Barcelona, which for our company Bango is our biggest show of the year. It is, this room here is about the size of half of one of the 8 halls at MWC in the main area there. So to give you a sense of scale, it's come a long way since last year. It's bigger, it's better, but it's still easy to get around. Compared to Barcelona, it's tiny.
Yeah, because yesterday we had Lara Devar, the CMO, and she told me in Barcelona it's something else. And I was like, yeah, I've heard that it's the OG event.
Yeah.
It's like one of the oldest running events, and she told me that it's going to be 20 years now. And they'll be celebrating 20 years in 2026.
If you work in the telco space, or like me, I've worked in companies that are selling products into the telco space for 25 years. That is the single biggest show. That is where you're going to meet all the best prospects and all the best customers. But it is huge. It has some,
you need to have your running shoes.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Bango.
Yep.
What does it do? Give us a Bango 101.
Yeah, sure.
So what does it do for the Middle Eastern market, for the people who are interested in what this product is?
Yeah, so Bango's a 25-year-old company. Nice. We're AIM listed in the UK, which is the alternative investment market.
Oh, nice.
Our business grew through what you'd call direct carrier billing. This is when you buy something and you charge it to your mobile phone.
Oh, okay.
We do a lot of this in the region, particularly for companies like Google. What we're focused on now, and my main efforts are on the product called the digital vending machine.
Oh, yeah. That was the word I was going for. I was like, digital vending machines, what's that?
So this is an analogy we created, and eventually we turned it into the product name as well to explain what we do. So if you can imagine a vending machine stuffed full of all your favorite subscription products like Netflix, Disney, and so forth, we're enabling companies to then bundle or sell those products. So let me give you an example. You might join a new mobile operator, a new mobile plan. They may include Netflix, Prime, Shahid, whatever, inside the plan. We're making that very easy to do. We build an ecosystem of all these different players within it, and our product then enables the companies to connect to each other and distribute those products through each other.
We recently, I think, had one of these deals. I think Netflix and Shahid bundled together.
Yes.
Was it you guys or
That's right. That one wasn't us, but it could have been. That's exactly the sort of thing.
So that's the idea mainly.
Yes.
Yeah, because it was a big news in the region that, why would, because Netflix wants to obviously go into Shahid's market, and Shahid obviously wants to capitalize on the 2 million that Netflix users are there in MENA region.
That's right.
Yeah.
So there's a few interesting things that are happening there. One is the content providers are leveraging the existing customer base that happens, and that's particularly good for market entry.
Yeah.
So coming from the US into the Middle East, if you can partner with, so Prime does a lot of this as well, if you can partner with a local mobile operator, ISP, otherwise, then you're getting access to that customer base, which means you're really making customer acquisition far easier.
Oh, nice.
So there's a great opportunity there, particularly for market entry. And then the other way around, when there are 2 content providers coming together, often one is benefiting from the notoriety, fame, content, etc. of the other partner. So that particular Netflix Shahid deal is really a combination of all of those things. It's market entry, it's partnering, it's adding value. When you create a bundle like that, often there's a price discount, as there is in this case. And those 2 products together at that higher price actually can make a stickier product, so better for retention as well. So it's a huge win all around. And of course, for us as subscribers, we're getting a better price.
Yeah, obviously, I don't have to pay and it's also paying 2 subscriptions, right? Putting in them on card and seeing So it's better that I get it in one bundle. I just make one payment and everything is
And
easy.
this is a really important thing, right? So a big trend at the moment, I've been using this word and I don't know if I've invented it or not, the subscriptionization of everything.
Oh, yes.
So everything is becoming a subscription product. And with that, we tend to subscribe to things here, there and everywhere. It might be in an app store. It might be with our mobile operator. It might be on their website, or we got a promotion somewhere. And we're trying to remember where we've kept all these things. And the subscriber is struggling. They can't remember where they subscribed, how much they're paying, when the renewal dates are, all of these things. And it's creating what we call subscription fatigue.
Yes, very important.
I'll just pause while this.
And I think it won't catch it. But yeah, you can continue, I think.
So it's creating this subscription fatigue. And with subscription fatigue, the customers are looking for some way of getting control back to their lives.
Yeah, I would love one bill once a month for everything, right?
Exactly. So that's leading to this other trend of what we call super bundling, which is this idea of multiple subscriptions paid for and managed in one place. And there's some amazing examples of this. So in the US, Spectrum have a promotion where when you sign their broadband deal, you get for $100, you get 10 services included with that. So it's all the typical subscription video on demand on the ad tier. So all of that's included. And then you can trade up to the ad, without ads version if you want. In Australia, there's a lovely example, which is Optus SubHub. When you join the SubHub and take 2 services, you get a 5% discount. Take 3, you get a 10% discount. So then you're pick and mixing from this list of about 20 different content providers.
Let me understand it in this way, that there was a time when you would choose channels, right?
Yes.
If you're taking a Dish TV or anything, you would choose channels that I want Super Sports 1 and I want a cartoon channel and I want a movie channel. You can pick and choose, like the package came with 10 channels. You can pick it. It's exactly the same idea, but for now, digital subscriptions for Netflix and me.
So they call this the great unbundling, right?
Yeah.
So at some point with pay TV, we ended up with 100 channels and we're watching about 5 of them.
Yeah.
And the price would inflate with it. Yeah. At some point, people were saying, this is getting too much. I'm paying for a load of stuff I'm not using. It doesn't feel right. So then we flipped to this idea of, well, I'm just going to get my broadband and then I'll start to add my own services to it.
Yeah.
And now what we're seeing with things like Spectrum and SubHub is with a pick and mix kind of a la carte approach, I'm now able to bring together the composition of the services that I actually want. So we're back to this flexibility and control piece.
So how big are you, or how big is this subscription bundling model in the Middle East? Because it's a very big question, right?
Yeah, so what we're working on at the moment is we're helping content providers come to the market. So where we have the likes of Amazon Prime, and Netflix and otherwise, we're able to bring them to the market. And really that's driven by the content provider. What we're hoping to do, and partly the reason why we're here, is to speak directly to the mobile operators, ISP providers and otherwise, and try and get them to see the idea and start to build the content hubs themselves.
Nice.
And with that, they'll start to select local players and international and create this unique mix for their customers.
But do you have competitors in this space? Sorry, it's a weird question, but I would love to know how many companies, for example, if you go to streaming, Netflix is big, Amazon Prime is big, Disney Plus, all these subscriptions are there in my house. And my wife has all the subscriptions and I'm like, how do you pay for all of these? But how big is the market? If there is a market, like it's $1 billion market, $10 billion market, and who are the biggest players in this market? We would love to know. I would love for you to say we are the biggest. But is the competition stiff? Is there space for new entrants?
Yeah. So we're
market.
We're the only business really that's of any scale doing only this. This is what our business is entirely focused on. The way we look at our competition, you already spotted this earlier in our conversation, is our competition is when the two parties want to do this together themselves, right? So it's kind of one of these DIY versus buy decisions for the partners. And typically, well, we like to think they'll come to us partly because they'll access this huge ecosystem that we're building. There's a kind of network effect with the more partners that join. It's going to be better for everyone. But also our product has capabilities which would take forever to build themselves. So it's not just about two companies working together and managing what we call the entitlement, that right to access between the companies. We're also building dashboards. We have capabilities of trade up, trade down, pausing, resuming, different pricing plans. Do we want a 1-month trial? Do we want it to be a year? All of these little nuanced complexities build up to being quite a lot of work. And then add in the complexity that, for example, Netflix are constantly changing their APIs, constantly evolving, raising the bar on what they want to do in terms of the complexity of the offers. And we're enabling then with our product everyone to have that level of complexity, everyone to be able to deliver those exceptional bundles that have been optimized through iteration and through time to deliver customers what they really want. And you really only get that with a platform like ours, which is creating these features and capabilities to deliver whatever the market needs are.
Again, would refer to a recent example also. We recently saw that Abu Dhabi TV, it's a big bunch of channels that Abu Dhabi TV ran, and they had a digital channel, and they moved all of that to Stars Play. So they built apps but they closed down them, and they're like, not working for us. Just handling the app is very difficult, the technicality behind it. So they moved it to Stars Play, and now you can watch a lot of their channels and things on Stars Play. So kind of like that you don't have to care about anything. You can literally outsource this to a company which is Bango.
That's right.
And it's easier.
So we're now encouraging the teams within the operators to think about the clever stuff. What offer are we going to do? How are we going to launch it? How are we going to make sure people are using this? Can we trade customers up if we give them this kind of package? Can we create segment-specific offers? Maybe we've got a sports fan offer or a student's offer, which could include productivity and digital books and this kind of thing. So it enables them to worry about those things rather than the complexity and technicalities of actually delivering it, which is what we're doing.
So it's good. It's great. But last question. I've been asking this everyone. Two things. One, where do you see Middle East in all these plans? And generally, we've seen Middle East is becoming the center of the world, right? MWC coming here. We have Web Summit. They chose Doha as the first venue, not Dubai, Abu Dhabi. Then some events, they only go to Dubai or Abu Dhabi. FII recently finished, one of the biggest events, Davos in the desert. Everything is like gravitating towards this region. How do you guys see it from the company perspective and your individual perspective as well?
Well, just yesterday I was watching the group CEO of Ooredoo talking about how in this region we're able to develop faster without the complexity and regulation. Europe seems to love piling regulation and
bureaucracy is not.
So clearly we're seeing things move much faster here in every respect in the region. And that's exciting for us because we want to be at the pioneering front edge of things. At the moment, a lot of our work's US-centric because that's where the streamers are, and the streamers are the most in-demand subscription product. But I could see that moving here, as you say, the center of excellence is evolving here. The 20, 30 visions that are coming out of various countries, absolutely mind-blowingly exciting. So if this is where the innovation's happening, then we need to be here. So I see a lot of opportunity there. As for our own product, our penetration is actually very low. So there's a huge opportunity for us. As I mentioned, we're mostly content provider, as we would call them, content provider led into the region. We're helping companies come into the region, but our product can be used by the mobile operators, the ISPs, and actually fintech's an emerging category for us. And fintech and banking is highly innovative.
It's the biggest funded category in startups right now in the Middle East. I think 80% of the money goes to fintechs in Middle East. That's the numbers from Middle East.
So we do a lot of surveys, and in one of our surveys, we came out with a stat of 48% of Gen Zers would switch their bank if bundling was included.
Nice.
Now, if you think about the inertia in fintech, people of my generation are keeping their same bank account for 25 years. There has never been a more stagnant category as that. But with bundling, you're able to offer something which could be used for customer acquisition and also retention. The same Content Hub ideas, give people lots of things they love. So there's a company called Revolut, you may have heard of.
75 billion yesterday.
They
announced. I was like 70. It's like 3 or 4 banks of UK combined in one, right?
That's right, and they're on that trajectory. And also they're doing a bit of they're doing mobile connectivity as well.
Nice.
So really interesting how all the categories are merging together. But anyway, they're getting into subscription bundling. As you go up the tiers of their service, you get more and more subscriptions included. So they've worked this out.
You've reminded me of a headline I was reading in the morning on Bloomberg. Saudi, the national flag carrier of Saudi Arabia, for locals, for the residents and locals of Saudi Arabia, they have also launched a subscription model. So you can buy 4 flights for a price and you can fly whenever you want.
Right.
So subscription is subscriptionization.
There you go.
The term that you develop. But it's great to have you. Just last question, how soon is AI going to replace humans? I'm asking this to everyone.
That's a great question. Well, I'm a big fan of AI.
Yeah.
I'm using it every day. I've already used it this morning.
Yeah.
The last thing I did last night was playing around on Google Gemini.
Nice.
So I'm big into AI.
Not a ChatGPT user?
I am ChatGPT's back. So we get it free with the business. The business is funding it, so everyone's experimenting.
Yeah.
So we have a group chat. What are you learning about ChatGPT? What do you do
Nice.
today? I shared this morning what I did last night. So to me, what AI is doing is taking away our work. It's taking away our busy. It's not necessarily taking away our jobs. I think some taxi drivers may disagree with that, but generally speaking, I think for perhaps white collar workers, there's lots of busy stuff we do every day, which we can do in seconds. Let me give you an example. I'll tell you what I did last night. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos about particular tasks. I've been taking that YouTube video into another tool, which has then transcribed the video for me. Then I've got notes. Quite slow and clunky. Google Gemini 3 last night, I worked out I can do that in a minute and create an infographic on it. I mean, in a minute, I've got a transcription of like I did it for a podcast I did, 45-minute podcast, pulls out the notes and summaries, create me an infographic, bang, there it is, within a minute.
Just listening to that 45 minutes, even at 1.5 or 2x speed, would take you 20 minutes. And then remembering stuff, taking notes, it can be done in 1 minute. That is what I also think, that the mechanical processes, the laborious mechanical processes, that AI has taken care for us. So even yesterday, again, I will say the same thing. I think humans will have more time to be creative, to have more time with family. I think work-life balance, thanks to AI, may be soon come back to our lives, because all the mechanical work they can do, as you said, taxis, Teslas and all these self-driving cars eventually will be doing the work. So people will have more time to do something else. Maybe we'll have more good paintings, the new Aristotle's philosophers and creative thinkers and painters.
Well, two things that I think are kind of interesting that occurred to me this week. One is that when I'm using AI, I'm forcing myself to think of a sort of higher order question. Because it can do stuff. Okay, what's the most clever version of that question that I can possibly ask it? So it's really elevating my thinking. And the second thing is that it's actually helping me behave with my colleagues in a better way, because it's helping my sort of real world prompting, if you want to think of it that way. What really am I asking for this guy to do? Let me think very carefully about that. You know, and you learn that through prompt engineering. You give it some waffly thing, you won't get what you really want. So then you think, what do I really, really want out of this? And in fact, I use GPTs against each other. So So ChatGPT, you use the conversation mode, you tell it what you want to do and finish it with, write me a prompt that achieves this, out comes the prompt. And then you take that over to whatever tool you really want to use with that prompt. You can sort of do that in real life. You know? Help me articulate this particular challenge and what's the right way of doing it for my colleague who is a whatever marketing person. And out comes it's just changing everything.
It's just different. I remember I was talking to one of my colleagues. She's writing a dissertation. And I was like, you would have seen us writing it like 10 years ago for our masters and bachelors. You'd have gone crazy, because now you're rephrasing the whole introduction part. You're just rephrasing. It's very simple for you. We had to literally sit down and type it out. It takes a lot of time, but all that laborious stuff has gone.
I think it will change the nature of education as well, because you can almost be autodidactic on everything. So now the role of the educator is to inspire you as to what you should be looking up, because you'll find it.
The best teacher I had in my life, they told me a sentence which now actually holds true. They were like, I'm not a teacher, I'm a facilitator. So you can read the book. If you don't understand a concept, I will facilitate you to learn the concept. I can't teach it to you. So facilitating the process is the teacher's job, and I think now it's more of a facilitating. They can literally ChatGPT anything and get the whole text about it.
That's it.
Just to understand it, you'll need a facilitator. So I think that is the main purpose.
Exciting, eh?
Thank you so much, Giles. It was really interesting. I'm learning so much about connectivity, and it's the subscriptionization. If you read it somewhere, it's Giles Tongue who invented this term. But thank you so much.